Okay.
This?
Okay, that's hilarious. Like,
Hey,
okay.
everybody. Welcome to this week of Not Your Typical Girl Talk. If you are joining us online, welcome. If you're joining us on Radio Regent, we welcome you as well. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, on Not Your Typical Girl Talk. And as usual, we are going to introduce ourselves by alphabetical order.
Hi there, everybody. I am Garcia, and I'm so happy to be a part of the Not Your Typical Girl Talk crew. Nice to see and hear you guys again today.
Hello, everyone. This is Telly, and I'm also a proud member of the amazing girl group, Not Your Typical Girl Talk. It's so wonderful to be with you guys again. It was my two sisters. There's never a dull moment between the three of us. There's always something, and today's a great, you'll see. You'll see.
And I'm Toshiba, the final member. I'm feeling very girl groupish for those who are watching online, because I put on my Christmas best, because Lord knows we ain't gonna really be able to put on our Christmas best this Christmas, so I put on my Christmas best.
Yes,
so
girl.
Here I am.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, girl.
Girl, we have to. It's so important.
It's giving me all I want for Christmas.
Are you giving?
Mariah Carey vibes.
You know.
You're like a candy cane.
Yeah. Shout out to Mariah, Ariana, and the amazing Jennifer Hudson.
Yes.
Yes.
Have you listened to the new song? I have not. I love
it. I do.
I heard it. It's good.
It's just in that spirit.
Yeah.
It's very jolly.
Yeah, it's jolly, which is, I think in 2020 Christmas time is needed, girl.
Yeah. Yeah. It's needed. Clearly we won't be celebrating the way how we would normally celebrate. Things are going to be a little different.
A tad bit different. But here's the thing, though. I'm not about the Christmas is canceled crew, right? There's this whole, Christmas is canceled because it's COVID. I'm sorry. You might celebrate differently, but if you are actually about the real reasoning behind Christmas and not the BS reasoning of buying people gifts and giving out your list of gifts that people cannot afford this year because ain't nobody got no job and no money, and where are the stimulus checks for the Americans? But I digress. However, Christmas is not canceled. At least not in my household. In my household, it does not have that many people, but we're still going to celebrate because the real reasoning behind Christmas, again, whether you believe that Jesus was born on this day and it's the day of his birth, whatever you believe, it's about people coming together. It's about family coming together. It's about celebration of life and love and all of those amazing things. And quite frankly, if there's ever a time to be celebrating life and love, it's this year.
Definitely.
I fully agree with that.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I think that if anything, this year we have to get back to that foundation of why the holidays exist, why Christmas exists, why Hanukkah exists, whatever you celebrate at this time of year, there is a reason behind it. And I think it's those very words that you hit there, Toshiba, being one of them, love, and the idea of coming together and celebrating life. We have families where literally some people started the year with 6 family members in their household, and they are the only person left in their home after 11 months of the pandemic. So this is definitely a time to celebrate, even if, and whatever you want to call it, whether you want to call it spirituality or the magic of Christmas, whatever you want to call it. Allow yourself to relish in it. I'm look, this is the time of year where you can be as cheesy as you need to be. This is the time of year. Watch all the lame Christmas Hallmark movies.
Yes.
Eat the best food that you can come across. Treat yourself. There's never a day where you shouldn't eat chocolate. Eat all the chocolate. And enjoy yourself, because this is a time of year where gifts actually should be the last thing
it should
you're thinking about.
Absolutely.
After
for sure.
all of this, even already, you know, 5 minutes into our conversation, I don't understand, after all of this talk of love and joy and magic, why are we talking about gifts? But the reality is that for some, that's what it's all about.
Exactly. And I agree with both of you guys. I mean, especially with coming together with your family and friends. A lot of my friends actually in the States, you know, it seems like every other friend I have, they've been heavily affected by COVID. They either lost their mom, their dad, or a really close family member. And a lot of people have just been, you know, shoving it in people's faces to mend bridges, to make peace with people you've had problems with. If there's a family member that for whatever reason they did you wrong or you did them wrong, now is the time to put up the flag, put up the white flag, and just kill it. You know, eventually it will be 2021, and there's no point in ending an already interesting year on a interesting note. You want to end it on a high note. And, you know, it's interesting because, like you were saying, with everyone just thinks about gifts and gifts. I know how you love, like, talking about, you know, how the merchants, this is their time of year. They love sucking every dime out of us.
Every dollar.
Every dollar, every penny, every blood drop into their pockets while we're there suffering with our Louis Vuitton handbag that we couldn't afford in the first place. But I digress. The point being, you know, it shouldn't be about gifts, especially this time of year. You have to really think about you as a person and all these different social medias and different avenues we can take to connect with people that we could have never connected with before. Family, we all have family in Jamaica. We all have family in all around the world. All of us have family members where I will say, you know, last year I didn't think about them. This year they're on my mind heavily, and I'm making sure that I connect with them either through Zoom, Facebook, whatever I can find, just to see them. That's the gift.
You know what? I love that. Is so true. I love that. There is a gift, and you know, Carcy, you said it earlier, the magic of Christmas, right? That shouldn't be lost. And it has been a tough year. And you know, rest in peace to everyone who has passed away. And the reality is, what do we got? Like 20 days to Christmas. There are going to be potentially thousands of people who don't make it to Christmas Day. And if you're one of the fortunate ones, the last thing I'm going to be looking at my people to say, well, you didn't buy me no gifts.
Oh, I think it's really disgusting. And you know there will be people that, you know, do the whole elevator look and say, so where's my gifts? Like, wow, really?
Listen, I already told people in my life I ain't got nothing but lint in my pocket.
Girl,
no, and you know what? Like, I'm gonna bring it to this place of boundaries. And I want people to understand that, listen, if your brother, sister, friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, mom, dad, uncle, auntie, whoever it is, comes to you and says, hey, this year I'm going to meet up with you on Zoom. You know, I'm going to send you an apple pie from my favorite, you know, baker, because that's all I can afford. Let's not be the people out here sending gifts. Or sending lists of gifts that you want, sending that to people and saying, well, these are the gadgets I want this year. This is what you should get from the Apple store for me this year. Now, I understand we all want what we want. But for me, and this is just me, this is my opinion, anything that I've ever wanted, and maybe this is just a trust thing with me, I usually buy it myself.
Yeah, damn self.
I don't like things like handbags, the gadgets, phones, laptops, things like that. I buy it myself. I don't make that a gift option for people. Because first of all, if you're giving me a gift, it should be coming from what you want to give me.
Right.
That's hard. Can we just hold that one and hug that one for a second? This idea for me has always been, how are you going to tell me what I can afford to buy for you? Because that's what that list does. You don't know. Listen, social media has a great way, and we talk about it all the time, of making people's life look real good. My life looks real good on social media, but I just told you I ain't got nothing but lint in my pocket, okay? I ain't got nothing to give, okay? Like, I'm sorry. So you are not going to turn around and hand me a list of things telling me what I can afford to give you, and then looking frowsy, because I'm Jamaican, that's a word, frowsy, okay, mess up your face when you don't get nothing on that list. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you, one, what I feel like, and two, what I can reasonably afford.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
No one should be looking in their stocking stuffer for a new like iPhone 76. So I don't know what number they're at now, or in the latest Samsung, or the latest laptop that can hover you into the air and fly you. Like, come on, man.
Girl, people out here buying PS5s in droves, and I'm like, where the money at? Because
that's
real talk.
Okay,
sit down. There is no, listen, like, people watch our promo video. There's a Dave Chappelle thing where this is the time to tell your child that Santa didn't make it through the pandemic. I'm sorry. Like, there is no PS5 for you, my youth.
I love it.
Go sit down and read a book. This is time to read some books. Get your education.
It's time to read.
See, what happened is Santa had to close down the workshop because, COVID restrictions. So all the elves got laid off. And they're currently lined up for boxes of cereal. And whatever
Rudolph,
they can get.
They had to sell him for meat. I don't know.
Poor Rudolph.
Poor Rudolph, he got sold. Look. This is the time to make up those stories for your picnic. This
is the time as well to understand what else works as a currency. Time is a currency.
Time is a currency.
So sit down with your kids and either watching their favorite program with them or singing their favorite songs with them. That's a gift too.
Amen.
It's not all about, oh my God, now I need to go out and get the best game or the best video console, or else my child is going to hate me. Oh, they need those designer
shoes,
sneakers, and all of this stuff.
This
is the time to teach children what currencies look like. And currencies don't always come in cardboard boxes. Currencies come in time.
They come in time.
Time
and togetherness.
Time togetherness. Just even sitting there and telling stories about old relatives, or the way how you lived your life as a kid, or your favorite Christmas. Like, all of these stories, maybe right now you'll think, oh, they're going to be bored out of their mind. But trust and believe,
you'll be surprised.
When they turn it around 17, 18 years old, they're going to love to know that they have these stories about you.
It's true.
You just gave me a great idea, Garcia. What would be interesting is actually people almost put together a time capsule of their child's life, or the family's life, or their journey, right? Because I look at my life, and when you've got family that's immigrated and emigrated to different parts of the world, you get very disconnected. And Telly alluded to it earlier about the disconnection, especially when you're from a country like the Caribbean, or or parts of Africa and so forth. There's a lot of emigration and immigration that happens, and you get so disconnected. And what an amazing thing just to kind of create a time capsule for your children, whether it's through a photo album, or you actually go and bury something in the backyard. I mean, depending on where you are, it might be cold, but you figure that out, right? But really create something for them that they can look back at years from and go, this is where I came from. Because, the reality is, if we don't know where we've come from, we don't know where we're going. And a lot of us, especially within our community, we are so lost because of a lot of us don't know our history. And so having those moments to sit down with your child and creating something for them, pictures of the great grandparents and grandparents, of you as a young child and their father and them as a baby, and, making notes of that would be amazing to do.
I think so. Like, one of the greatest gifts I got from a cousin was a photo of my grandmother when she was extremely young. And it's a picture of him and her. And when he was a little guy, he was like a little baby, and a photo of her. And it was this black and white photo. And I had always heard that when she was younger, she always wore white gloves and her hair was always done up like, a pinup doll, and she wore little white dresses. And this picture is her in that very same outfit. And no matter what phone I have, that photo stays in my my phone because I see my mom in that photo. I see my 2 older sisters. I see Tally's eyes. I see myself in her, and I'm like, you know, this woman, this is my ancestor. Yeah, like I see us in her. So, you know, no gift could replace that picture. No. And that picture, what did it cost? Absolutely nothing. But it's one of the greatest things I've ever received.
That's the thing too. You know, I love that. Hopefully, because I know that, you know, even talking about the having like a photo album or creating a time capsule, it's just really cool. And I hope that parents and everyone gets back to getting creative with their gifts. Yeah. Instead of just running to the store and getting the gadgets and this and the clothes that the kids are going to grow out of anyway, you know, buy things that can put, you know, like go to the art store, get some crafts and some papers or whatever you need, and start building those time capsules, start building those memories. I had a friend back in high school, and she was all about scrapbooking. This girl will scrapbook everything. And I'm still friends with her up to this day, and she's still a scrapbooker. And even though, you know, she says, yeah, Chantel, you know, I don't mind sharing my life on Facebook and whatever, but she said there's nothing to her, there's nothing better than putting a picture in a book and just turning the page.
I love
that's such a rarity these days because everything is touch, sounds going off. Even when you hear your phone make a notification, you kind of shudder. You're like, no, not again, because you feel like something negative is going to happen. So it's just like, it's nice to hear when people actually don't want to have anything to do with technology. Yeah. They just want to have their peace and look through their book and say, wow, this is my grandmother, this is my grandfather back in Jamaica and this year and that year. And I don't know, I just think it's cool. I love that. I love that idea.
You just said something that I think is another gift that people could give to their family. Turn your phone off on Christmas Day.
Girl, that is
Turn the phone off. Seriously, like that is a gift, like having complete attention, your spouse's attention, your children's attention, whatever the case may be. You turn those phones off, put them in a drawer, whatever it may be. People will understand. You can talk to them on December 26th. You can talk to them on December 24th. But what an amazing gift, because again, you know, it was funny because I'm going back to, you know, I think it was the first debate with Joe Biden and that man. And so I remember when Joe Biden kind of turned and looked to the camera and he said, you know, how many of you will have a missing chair? You know, basically at Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever. He said, how many of you have a missing chair? And let's think about the fact that there's been a monumental shift in the world, but when we look at people's lives, like 2020 has been hard.
It sure has.
To make it harder, thank you. And so to make it harder with lists and gifts and what people want, people don't realize the pressure that people have to try to please others. I don't personally feel that pressure. I really don't give two craps. Right. I apologetically me, I got it, I don't. Like I'm the person who, you know, I think last year for Christmas, I made for people, I did these Redeem Me. So I literally created these homemade personalized Redeem Me cards for my 3 best friends, and I gave it to them. It was like crafted and everything, and I printed it out and I put different things, but they were Redeem Me cards. And it was, you know, each was individualized to them, right? It wasn't last year, it might have been the year before, but it was individualized to them and things that I thought was important to them, right? And that was from the heart. That actually took thought. It wasn't I went and bought a gift card. I actually put thought into what are things that they could redeem it for, like, you know, a babysitter or whatever it is, like the baby sleepover, different things like that. That was very unique to them. And I think time is so important. Garcia said it's so valuable. And so I would recommend to people on Christmas Day, turn your phone off and focus on your family. Sit on the couch, watch movies, talk, go through your scrapbook, go through your history, go through your DNA, whatever it is, but give your family your time on Christmas.
So true.
Exactly. And I think that's a great gift because for me, what I love most about being around my friends, and you guys know this obviously, is I love a good chat. I love to talk. We do. Going out to dinner is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of restaurant managers know me because they're like, you all still here, and the restaurant is closed, and we are still talking.
Yes, we are.
You know, like literally getting kicked out. It's like, please leave now.
No.
But we tip well. But we tip well. We tip well.
Yes.
We do tip well.
And that's the thing. And the reason why I love that is because no gift you give me will ever, you know, it can't replace that time with friends. It can't replace that time of breaking bread and saying, hey, remember that time when, or let me tell you about my week, or, you know, this is why I was so crummy when I came in here, and this is why I'm so happy now. Like sharing those stories with people, they appreciate it. And I think, like we've been saying, time, turning that phone off and just being present in the moment is so valuable, and people appreciate it.
Love that.
But I do want to talk about the people that, you know, are going to shop this year.
Oh dear.
Because some people, you know, they are going to shop. Some people aren't worried about 6 months from now.
Oh,
so, so, you know, I want to talk about, you know, if you are going to shop, I think that the world has made this change where the idea of shopping has even shifted. I don't know. I know that Walmart's open. I know that Costco's open, you know, all of these places. But I do think that people are more interested now in, you know, supporting smaller businesses, supporting people that look like them, supporting people, supporting families that have businesses.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I think that that's something that needs to, you know, be highlighted in a sense, because I think, you know what, if you are going to spend $20 or $10 on someone this year, if you're going to buy a Christmas card, Hallmark is making movies, y'all.
Yeah.
Hallmark has money.
They got money.
They don't need your $5, $6, $10. But there are so many illustrators and artists that are young, that are maybe Black, that are maybe Indigenous, that might be from other backgrounds, other lifestyles that you could be supporting.
I love that. True. So true. And yeah, I think that, I know that at one time I was reading an article and they were just talking about Jeff Benzo, he's owner of Amazon. And they were basically saying that he is so rich that if he wanted to, he could pay all of his employees $150,000 a year and still be a billionaire. But instead, he chooses to cut down their vacation time. He has put a restriction on their sick leave. So they can't, before they used to get a certain amount of days, and now he's cut that down because everyone's ordering things off of Amazon. They're really busy. So I guess to him, he feels, well, all hands on deck. So because of these weird restrictions, people online have been saying, look, if you can support anyone else other than Amazon, try to. I know that Amazon is known to sell everything. And there are lots of businesses out there that still may not be able to sell everything. But if you can even find whatever you can get that you can get from a small business and support them, a business that's owned by a POC, anything you can do to help a small business, if you're going to spend money this year on Christmas, you should put them first. Because they're the ones who have to pay for the website and the brick and mortar. They're the ones that are hurting the most.
And I'll even add to that, because as someone who actually has a product on Amazon.
Yo, you're different, Sheba.
But there are stores on Amazon that are owned by other people, because Amazon has a merch section and they have all these different things. So I would say, you know, there are the Amazon products, and there's actually products that, you know, again, people of color, you know, Black women, whatever it is, are selling on Amazon because they're using them as a platform. But I do agree, if you can go and support another business, Walmart doesn't really need any more of your money. Costco certainly doesn't need more of your money. Like, they just don't need any more of your money. The reality is the pandemic has disproportionately affected small businesses, local businesses, and quite frankly, Black-owned businesses. Like, let's just be straight up about what it is. And so I was happy to see that Breakfast Television actually put out a holiday list specific to Black-owned businesses. I don't think all Black-owned, but I think it was BIPOC, so Black, Indigenous, and people of color. And they put out this kind of diversity. They're promoting diversity, and they had all of these businesses. And if you're in Toronto, please check out Breakfast Television. I forgot what it's called, Holiday something list, but if you look it up, there's a lot of people of color that are on there, and people who have, again, been disproportionately affected by this pandemic. Do not stand in malls getting Louis, Prada, Fendi, Gucci, Louis Vuittons, whatever. I don't personally support any of those things, and it's not because I don't think people should, but the reality is, as hard as this year has been, what have those companies done? I haven't heard of them putting together any grants to help small businesses get themselves off the ground. Have you heard any loans that they're putting together? Because the last I checked, it's like $4,000 for a purse.
Not one thing.
You know what? I'm going to be a real full-on adult right now. It comes out every now and then. I fool people all the time with my age because they honestly think I'm a child. But the truth of the matter is, right now, guys, taking $3,000 of your money to go out and buy a handbag is not smart. It's not smart financially. It's not smart economically. Right now, we don't know what sort of shutdowns, we don't know the jobs you have right now, the business you have right now. You don't know where it will be 6 months from now.
Exactly.
So what you have to do, if you have $3,000 right now, you better find some sort of TFSA. For Americans, we have a tax-free savings account. In the States, they have their own things. They have their Roth. They have all of those things. But whatever you can throw that money into, and you put that money in a safe place where it can grow interest, because you might have to turn back and use that $3,000 to pay your rent, to pay for groceries, and to live.
Listen, and sorry to cut you, girl, but I'm gonna get real personal and tell a personal story here. These companies don't care about you. Like, I'm going to keep it real for a second. I made a decision recently to give up my car, right? I've had the car for several years. I love my car. It's a BMW. I tinted her out. You know, her name is Belle because she's so beautiful. When you open all of the doors, I created it where the BMW lights down, and it's all awesome. Okay. I love that car. Love her with everything I got. I will get her back or something like it at some point. But let me tell you something. I was spending money on a car that I wasn't driving.
Right.
Wow.
My car was sitting there. Since March, I put gas in my car 4 times.
Wow.
It's since March, 4 times. And I actually have a full tank of gas in her right now, waiting for them to pick up this bauxite car, right? Anyway, when I call the company that I'm with to tell them that I am going to surrender my car because I did not want to miss a payment. And let's be clear, I was paying them throughout this pandemic. I never missed a payment, never called for a deferral, never called for anything. I just kept paying because I was hoping that the situation would get better. But again, I was literally taking this car to go buy groceries at this place and not leaving my home.
Yeah.
I get on the phone to say, hey, I need to give up my car. You know what the woman says to me?
Oh dear.
Like, have you thought about asking family members to make the payment for you?
Stop it, girl. What?
Okay.
Really?
That's highly unethical.
Have you thought about asking family members to pay for it for you?
I have no words.
So I said, okay, so listen. Pre-meditation therapy to Sheba would have told her about her crotches and underneath her mum and all kinds of things.
And you'd have all right.
Right? You know, post-therapy and meditation to Sheba was like, no, ma'am, can you just arrange for someone to come and pick up this car, right? It was already a hard enough decision to call. So for you to then try to tell me that I should do so. Now, fast forward now to today, literally to today, I go to my mailbox to open my mail, and it's a letter from the company basically telling me that they were going to sue me because she had sent out the wrong letter. So it was a default payment letter, like I had ever defaulted on the loan. I've been paying off this car. I never, and listen, it's a BMW, so you know it wasn't cheap. I wasn't paying like $200 a month, right? And again, paying it through the pandemic, you know, trying to be self-employed and all of these different things. I had to call, and luckily I got sent. He was like, yeah, you got sent the wrong letter. And I said, you know what? Your company really needs to be more careful, because here I am, I've never missed a payment. He's like, you have never missed a payment. And I've been paying this for a little bit. And I said, I was almost through this loan. So how dare you guys send out a letter to me it was abrasive. We've been trying to reach you and you've defaulted on your loan. And I'm like, no, stop. No, stop. So I give this personal story to say these companies do not care about you. They care about their bottom line. So if you think that you're going to spend your hard-earned money, and, you know, this experience has changed me fundamentally. Like, I would never put myself in a situation again to be in debt with somebody to that point. Like, I probably will never take out another car loan. If I can't afford to buy it, all out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's changed the way I think about how I do things, to recognize that a company who, for years, I've never missed a payment. I continue to pay them through a pandemic when other people were calling deferrals and defaulting, and I called to surrender it so that I don't get in a situation where I can't pay for it. And I basically get a letter telling me about my parts and that I'm worthless, essentially.
It's just, you know, and you think that she would have you some more compassion to say, you know what, wow, we're going through a hard, difficult time. And I'm sure there were hundreds of other people that called her saying the same thing. And I'm wondering, well, she would have said this to everybody then that called in. These companies don't give one ratted.
Well, I'm going to say this.
Not one.
I want to go back to the small business aspect. When you spend your money with a small business, they know your name.
Amen.
They know your preferences in your services and products.
Yeah.
When I go to, say, my masseuse, she knows exactly, she's a small business owner. You know, she has her little place set up. And when I go there, she knows exactly how much pressure I like. Ooh. You know, when I go to the person that makes my units, that makes my wigs.
Yeah.
They know exactly the size of my head. They know exactly how to customize it. They know the density I like. Big companies don't have time to know what your preference is.
No.
At all.
They don't care about how you're doing.
No.
They don't care about your mental health.
No.
What they care about is you giving them money. Yep. They don't care how you get the money. You could sell drugs. You could kill someone. You could steal the money from the bank. They don't care how you got it.
That's true.
As long as you get it to them.
Yep.
So this is, I hope, a lesson to everyone that your money is of value. And when you're giving away money, you're giving away energy. Do you want to give energy to someone that doesn't give a flip about you?
Who tells you to go borrow money from your family members to pay for your car?
Right. You don't want to give that. You don't want to give that brand your energy.
No, absolutely not.
This is why I am a firm believer in, okay, well, if you're going to give your energy to something, make sure that you value it to that extent, to that point. You know, like I'm wearing this New Balance shirt that I just realized I'm wearing. And I'm like looking at myself, I'm like, oh, I'm wearing a New Balance sweatshirt. And a few years ago, I had issues with New Balance. I'm not even going to lie. Now they made this cute sweatshirt. So I'm like, whatever, I will buy this. I've forgiven the brand and I will, you know, rep this sweatshirt for right now. But I am not going to tie myself to New Balance. No. I am not out here looking to buy New Balance every day. No. To me, this is just a sweatshirt. But when it comes to value, when it comes to giving your energy away, you have to look at it and ask yourself, is it worthy giving these people, you know, your money, your hard-earned money that you know, you could be spending on anything else. Yeah. And a lot of these brands don't realize that you could be spending your money on anyone else. Also, I do want to take the time to say thank you to Radio Regent for allowing us to be on air with you today and be able to talk about all of these topics that we talk about. We appreciate Radio Regent and we appreciate everyone there that makes this show possible. And thank you, listeners, for listening and constantly checking us out on Facebook, on Instagram. be sure to follow Not Your Typical Girl Talk on all our socials.
Yep, yeah. You know what you said, which was interesting, and I wanna go to that about a small business and how they will know you, right? Like the small business will be the business that will send you a Christmas card saying thank you for your patronage. Oh, yeah. I don't know anybody who's getting no Christmas cards from Louis Vuitton and all of those places saying
and they
thank you to you and your family.
Nope. They should be able to send you a whole bunch of Louis Vuitton bags.
They should be sending you a wallet.
Card. That's what they should be sending.
Should be sending
much
everybody
more
a wallet.
Card. They could care less. You saw what they did to Oprah when she went into a Louis Vuitton store.
Girl. But this is real. Like the small business will take the time to create a real customer profile for you, and not a customer profile so that they can find out what you're saying on Facebook and Instagram and then put ads out so they can buy their stuff. Not talking about that kind of hello, watch the social dilemma, right? Like a real customer profile so they see what you've purchased. They may have asked you a few questions. You came into the store. Again, Garcia says her masseuse knows her pressure points. Her wig knows the measurement of her head. They know you. You are a person. You are Garcia. You are not customer 3265 from the receipt, right? And that's something. And in this time of year, again, where reality is a lot of people are struggling. Again, people don't look at Instagram and think people aren't out there struggling. They're struggling. We're just trying to put our best faces forward. That's the reality.
That's what we're doing.
Right? Nobody's trying to show you their struggle. Everybody's trying to show you their best face. But the reality is behind a lot of that, there is families who are just trying to keep it together. The United States of America sent out one dege $1,200 check a gazillion years ago. What were people supposed to do with that? Thank God for Canada, because listen, if you're American or anywhere around the world, listen to Canada has been giving us money. Now, some of it may not be enough for a lot of people to in their mind survive, but it's enough for people to, again, I gave up my car, I can pay my bill, right? Like I can put the roof over my head. It may not be for luxuries, but it can maintain a roof over your head and food in your kitchen, so you can have a Christmas. So thank God for living in Canada, because you look at them bickering right now to try to get money out to people who need it.
That's so true.
We're worried about Christmas gifts.
Okay. There's people out down the street now in the States. They're lined up to get food for 5 hours or more.
Yeah. There's a story right now in Canada. We have a lot of vacant hotels right now because of the pandemic. And the government has been housing homeless people. And a lot of these people that are getting housed are newly homeless.
Amen.
Yeah. They don't have mental issues.
No.
They're paying their bills and paying their rent. And they just could not live in their homes anymore. Living in Toronto, living in Mississauga, living in Ontario in Canada is very expensive. Ontario and British Columbia are very, very expensive provinces to live in. And these people have been living in the hotels, and now the government is not going to be kicking them out, as I heard recently.
That's good.
But they were about to get kicked out of these hotels, and they were saying, look, and these are men that are ready to work. These are women that are ready to work. They're like, I'm looking for a job. I just need a few more weeks. Just give me a few more weeks. The government has put up more money to keep them in these hotels.
That's good. I'm glad.
But just living the reality of the situation is a lot of people are going to be spending Christmas in a shelter or worse on the street. The ones that are more privileged will be spending it in a hotel room. And when you look at it like that, you start looking at yourself, even if you are okay financially right now, you're not getting the Christmas bonus that you're used to getting, and you're not able to, because for me, it would be very hard for me right now to spend money on a bunch of frivolous gifts when I know I have family members that aren't working right now.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. If I was going to gift anyone, it would be me putting a few dollars in a little envelope and giving it to them and saying, I hope this can help you with your Christmas.
That should be the gift.
Year.
There you go.
Like gift someone, give them money.
Yeah, and that's my personal belief, but for a lot of, and I think this works for a lot of younger people maybe with their parents, maybe their parents aren't working, or maybe they're not getting the pay that they're used to getting. And as younger people, where we can work from home and, you know, we have these certain privileges, a lot of older people don't have it. So a lot of older people even need assistance. And yes, they might be getting some help from the government, as Toshiba mentioned before, but a little extra can go a long way as far as groceries, right? So I think that it's just a matter of what are your priorities and how are we going to redirect this idea of just buying a heap of meaningless gifts and really bringing it more into the, how can I actually help someone that needs help?
Oof, that part.
So true.
That part. You said a word, and I want to go back to it, and that word was humble. 2020 has been a humbling year.
Girl, it just kills everyone's ego.
No, like I said, I gave up my car.
I'm so sorry, Shiva, but you know you did the right thing.
I love my car. I love my car.
I know you love that car.
Again. I love my car.
Really is nice car.
But listen, I actually didn't even hesitate. I had to look at my life and be like, your lifestyle right now, first of all, where you going? You ain't going nowhere. Like, I've driven this car twice in the last month and a bit. Like, this is I was away on a road trip. I came back. I went to groceries, went to the US to visit my family. I came back, I was on quarantine. Today was actually the first day I came off of quarantine from that trip that I was able to go outside. So I looked from the end of October to December, and I've driven that car twice. So I had to look at my life and be realistic and say, as much as I love it, it's a material thing that I don't need right now, and that money can be diverted elsewhere. And so it was humbling for me because, again, I had worked hard and all of the different stuff that I can list, but the reality is, that's not my situation right now.
That's it.
It humbled me. And if people are not in a situation where they've been humbled by 2020, because the reality is, even if financially you're still okay, the world is not okay. The entire, whatever you want to think about coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever, and whether it's a hoax, it's a conspiracy theory, it's killing people.
It is.
Yes.
There are family members, and if it's not killing people, like in my family, my father's still alive, but my father came out of having COVID and a stroke and everything else, not remembering his 7 children. He's got 7 girls and grandkids. He doesn't know any of us. Yes, he had underlying condition for the conspiracy theories, but had he not gotten COVID that precipitated a stroke, he wouldn't be there right now. And that's the reality of this virus. And so if the reality of the fact that here is a virus that started from some other side of the world that's now wreaked havoc on families all across the world, if that hasn't humbled you, God bless your soul.
I fully agree with that. And, you know, for instance, for people that, you know, have been following us for a while, you know, they will know, you know, and for me personally, I'll speak for myself, but I think I can speak for all of us. I'm a bit of a fashionista.
Yeah.
So you are a girl.
I love my clothes.
We love our clothes.
I love my, you know, love my clothes. Like, love my clothes.
I love
my clothes are my children.
Love my clothes. Love my shoes.
I love my shoes.
I love when we go out.
I love my hair. I love my accessories. So I've dropped money on these things. This year, I can count on one hand how many clothing things I bought. And the clothing things I bought were all things that I could literally wear around the house. A sweatshirt, sweatpants, a pair of leggings. And these are the only things that I have bought. And that is weird. I can't remember the last time I've gone through a year why I wasn't dropping on a new summer wardrobe, new spring. What?
Yeah, your outfits were fierce, girl, and your hat, and your hats, girl.
Right, and my hats. Yes, I love my hats. Yes. Didn't buy one single hat this year. And that is very rare. But I also had this thing where I was like, where am I going? I'm not going to wear these things anywhere. This money that I'm going to drop on a hat right now, where else could I put it? Because to be honest, I would much rather make sure we have food in the house. And I got to make sure that, you know, we're not going to miss, you know, a mortgage payment. Like, I've got to make sure that my finances are in order. And that's what it did. It humbled me. It was a change. I learned to just shop my closet when you know, I needed something. It's like, well, I'll just go to the closet.
Fall back in love with things from the past.
Girl,
love that. That's actually a good one. Fall back in love.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stop it there. Fall back in love with fill in the blank, whatever that is. Because how many of us, our lives were just so busy. And we were just going. We talk about it all the time. It was go. Oh, gotta go here, gotta go here. And we fell out of love with a lot of the things that pushed us, again, our future me letters that got us to even having the show, right? The things we wrote in those letters are the things that we love, that we didn't even have time to pursue because life was so busy. So fall back in love with whatever. Fall back in love with your partner, your spouse, your children. Some of you don't like your children. They don't like you neither. Right? Like seriously.
We're pushing them to go to school because we don't want to see their own kids.
Time to work on that relationship.
Right?
This is the time to fall back in love with insert the blank. Right?
Yeah.
And this is a season to do it, right? But dress up. This is why I dressed up for this show. Like I dressed up because, you know, my mother always says, you know, you basically don't get buried in your clothes. Put on your clothes and dress up. Dress up for Christmas Day. Take your pictures. You know, enjoy yourself. Again, outside might be closed for a lot of the world, but it doesn't mean that you need to be closed. Right. And I just think it's an interesting time when people are saying, well, Christmas is canceled. Well, if Christmas is canceled, then your priorities are skewed. That means that your concern were people's wallets and what they were giving you and not the spirit and the magic of Christmas.
That's it.
I agree, because this year, the one thing that was so inspiring was seeing the amount of people that had their weddings in their backyard, on the stoop of their house. They were like, listen, love is not canceled and we are getting married.
Life
is not the dream wedding. You know, we wanted to go to Jamaica. We wanted to get married in a Scottish castle. Those were our plans, but the plans fell through. But we're going to get married right here. In front of the door of our house.
That's all.
And our friends are going to be across the street waving, saying, yeah, we love you. And it's going to be great. And people did it. And it was still beautiful. It was still meaningful. Love is not, you know, in the same way with Christmas. It's magical regardless of how many gifts are there.
That's it.
Or, you know, like, let's celebrate life. Let's celebrate the fact that we have a chance to squash family drama, right?
Life is a gift. Then, you know, you have to put your foolishness aside, like, drop the ego. And I agree too, ladies. If there is anyone left that still is riding a high horse, I don't think they're human, because this has done. I've seen a lot of people that I know as acquaintances that used to have, you know, they'd be way up in their head, and now they are humbled as hell. These are people that they would look at you up and down, and now they're like, is there anything I can do to help you? Is there anything? I've never heard, actually, of so many people running food drives to help. They want to choose 10 families, just donate food to. Donate gifts to, like, you know, usable, like, sensible gifts for kids, so that they have a toy, like a stuffed toy on Christmas Day. Like, the world, most of it, thank God, most of everyone is becoming humble, which is really encouraging. I just pray that it lasts.
Amen.
I pray that it does, because it's nice to see people. We all know how it is in Canada. I know in the States, when we used to go there, they'll instantly say good morning to you, and it would shock me, because in Canada, no one says good morning to anybody. In Canada, they just push you out of the way and go through the door, because that's just how Canada stays. But today was crazy, because we were at the bulk barn, and this guy who was passing by just said good morning. And I looked at him like, what? Because I'm not used to all the, you know, the niceness and the kindness. So it was actually refreshing to hear him say that. I was like, wow. Now, I don't know if it's the Christmas spirit in him. I don't know if he is just jolly because we're fine. But whatever it was, I was going to say good morning. I said good morning back, because it's like, yo, we're all human. We're all in this mess. let's all just keep our levels head and just, you know, vibe. That's it.
Because we do, you know, you said something about just a gift, right? Like I wake up every morning and one of the first things I say when I open my eyes is I say, thank you, God, for waking me up this morning. Because I recognize that there were people who did not wake up. And that alone is a gift, right? I remember when I was getting to know people and I was dating, and you know, my one of my least favorite questions after what do you do? That actually was my least favorite question because that question to define you as a person, but we can talk about that on another show. However, is, you know, what do you enjoy to do, or you know, whatever. I'm like living. I enjoy living. I don't look for things outside of myself to bring me joy. The art of waking up and taking that breath in the morning is enough for me. And a lot of people think I was being a sarcastic beep, but I wasn't. Like I that was the reality of my life. You know, people who know me know me. Like I'm not other than my car that I love her. I'm really I'm not a name brand person. I don't think I own. You know, I have a Michael Kors watch on right now. This was a gift for my 40th from 3 of my best friends, well, 2 of them. Right? I'm not the person who's going out and buying. I would never buy a Louis Fendi product. It's just not my thing. So I find enjoyment out of the smallest things. I find enjoyment in the fact that I woke up. I find enjoyment in the fact that my daughter is healthy. I find enjoyment when my friends are happy. I'm always asking you guys, how are things? Are you happy? Like, that I find enjoyment out of just breathing and living. And if we can't take this time in 2020 to just find enjoyment that not only our breath, but the person who's sitting beside you is breathing this year.
That's it. You know, people think that it's a third world problem that they don't have a MacBook Pro. Oh, woe is me. It's like, listen, shut up. No one's interested in your little first world problem. Boo-hoo to you. You're lucky you even opened your eyes. We're hearing so much stories nowadays. Someone catches COVID Friday, Saturday, they're dead. And people want to come and say that, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. You're looking at your eyes even opened much more.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with people.
This is the time definitely to start practicing gratitude. Gratitude practice, write down 10 things you're grateful for a day. Write it down in the day or in the morning, or write 5 in the morning, 5 at night, and really practice gratitude. When you start doing that, you will get this mindset that Toshiba and Telly are talking about. You can tell that they practice gratitude because I can. Yes, I can.
And it's been working
because that is what gratitude is a practice.
It is.
You know, you just don't wake up and you're like, oh, I'm perfect. But it's a practice, and it's the practice of finding the joy in the small things. The idea that your friend went out and bought you a coffee, that should be something you celebrate. You're not waiting for someone to give you a MacBook laptop. You're celebrating the fact that you have a friend. And that your friend loves you enough to take the time and the energy to get you a coffee.
A little louder for the people in the back.
Practicing gratitude. If you've never done it, that's our Christmas gift to you. Is to start practicing gratitude. Write it down, say it out loud, walk around the house and say, I'm so grateful that I have shelter. I'm so grateful that I was able to afford to have this, you know, oatmeal that I made for myself this morning. All of these things. If you start doing that, things like having the 2020 gadgets of the year, all of this stuff, it's not going to matter.
Will not matter. So true.
It's not going to matter.
So true.
And that's what
that, you know what, and it leads me before we wrap up to, you know, I remember as my nieces were getting older, there were a couple of years for Christmas, I made a decision that I wasn't going to buy them any gifts. And I actually took the time and I wrote them letters.
Oh, wow.
And I wrote them letters just about how proud I was of them and the things that they were accomplishing and all of these different things. And I remember one of my nieces crying. And her mom was like, why are you crying? And she's like, Auntie Sheba wrote me the most beautiful letter. And I have to ask her when I see her if she still has that letter. But I remember it was such a touching thing for her because I spoke about her. And I remember, I think I actually gave her a gratitude journal one of those years too. And I remember, she was going off to university, and I said, you know what, this is an opportunity for you to write. This is the blank pages for you to write the story of your life, right? Like, go out there and write the story of your life. And people don't recognize that, we live in a world that people are all about instant gratification and this and the new things, like you said. But the reality is, and we've said it before, time is so important. Falling back in love with things that were important to you, but you've lost along the way. Falling back in love with yourself, and falling back in love with the people in your life, and making them know how important they are. Because just like Garcia said, there are people right now who's the only friend they've had in this world has now died. Yes. And they don't have somebody to bring them that coffee. That person who was bringing them that coffee is in a mass grave somewhere because they didn't have time for a burial. Like, let's really figure out what the magic and the spirit of, and none of this list and foolishness. Because if anybody sends me no list, I'm telling them about their mother.
Girl, talk about it. I just want to block them right time. Like,
and I might tell them
unless that list has something where it's like how to make a cake or something. It has ingredients of how to make like a cake, or I don't know.
And you know what? I'll make this a part of my takeaway is, remember, everybody is in their own sort of traumatic experience right now. We're all sitting in trauma. This is why we're all kind of waking up like, is that COVID thing still here? We're actually living in trauma.
Yeah.
So don't be telling people how much weight they've put on.
Oh my gosh.
Don't be,
don't be rude.
Don't be telling people, you used to, do this and that for the holidays. Why aren't you doing this anymore? Don't be judging people. Don't be taking away from them. We're all going through it. Remember, you might still have your job. Your business might be thriving right now because it's purely online, but not everyone is in the same place. So be kind to others. Be kind, and if anything, offer support.
Yes.
How are you today? How can I help you today? Is there anything I can do for you? That is what people need, and that's probably the best gift you can give people.
I love that.
Oh, I love that. And just real quick, I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and just because I know that I'll do my takeaways, but I want to thank Radio Regent for giving us this platform. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and we would love to hear from you as well. So follow us on all of our social medias at Not Your Typical Girl Talk. Leave us a comment, DM us, message us. We'd love to hear from you. Any topic ideas you may have, let us know. We all love talking. We all love typing as well. So let us know. But we want to thank you all so much for listening. And my takeaway also is just to practice gratitude and be thankful for every waking second you have on this planet, because clearly no one is alive anymore from the Spanish flu. So no one from that time period can tell us what it's like to live in a pandemic such as the one we're in now. And after, being in lockdown since March, you just realize how life can slip away quickly. Mm-hmm. And it's very, very important. When someone says, back in the day when your parents always say, don't take your life for granted, and you just laugh at it saying, oh, I got time. None of us got time. So live your life. Live safely, and all those dreams and aspirations that you have, just because we're in a pandemic, don't kill those dreams.
Amen.
Still work on them. And the gift to yourself is to practice gratitude.
I love that. You actually just added to one of my takeaways. So I'm stealing one from Garcia now, stealing one from you. So I'd say the first takeaway, Garcia was saying being kind to others. I'm going to add that and say be kind to yourself.
Ooh,
right?
Yes.
This has been a very difficult year. Be kind to yourself. If there are days that you just want to sit down and do nothing, do that. The world is just happening so fast around us, and sometimes we're forgetting to be kind to ourselves. So I'm going to say again, be kind to yourself. And in terms of what Telly had said, I think that we have to remember that we live every single day and we only die once. You only live once. And I say, actually, no. You live every day. You only die once. So while you have breath in your body, live. Whatever that is. Dress up in your best clothes. Because I'm in my best right now. Look at my outfit, girl.
Yes, girl.
Dance around. Dance around the house. take your spouse and have a date night at home. Yeah. Love up your children, do whatever. But it's so amazing to literally every day just live. And thank you to the boyfriend who just left a comment.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Oh, so cool.
And Garcia is going to take us out with our song, which is the best song right now to think about.
Our theme song. Amen to that.
When we rule the world, listen, we're going to rule this world. What?
Hey. If you're watching us online right now, we are killing it, okay? If you're on the radio, you need to check us out because we are killing it in these streets. Everybody have a good day. We thank you. Goodbye, ladies, and we'll see and talk to you next week. Bye.
Yes, ma'am. Bye, ladies.